that really stood out to me is that you guys are together and there is so much joy over there, and you guys are celebrating each other on the floor and each other's success out there on the floor. Okay? Hell of a job staying together and being a team. This one tonight goes to Quick. Here we go.
Where you at with it, Bane? Where you at with it, Bane? Right. Spin that, but you gotta spin that. Right.
Family on three. 1, 2, 3, family.
The Raptors headed out on the road on an 11-day West Coast road trip in the midst of a massive trade. How will this new look team come together, folks? Well, tonight it was a feisty win against the Grizzlies, fueled by impressive performances throughout the roster, but none may be as special and magnified as newcomer Immanuel Quickley. IQ exploded in his second game as a Raptor, scoring 26 points, knocking down 5 threes, and dishing out 5 assists in 32 minutes of action.
He fits great. It's just a point guard, a guard that can do so much with the ball. His shooting is really something that makes the difference for us there. Teams are constantly going over on him, which just creates opportunities everywhere on the floor. I thought at the start of the game he was a little bit hesitant and reading, and you could see that in the first game as well. And after that, he just started playing and being himself. And that's what I told him. You gotta be yourself. And on the fly, we're gonna be teaching and learning and everything, but you gotta go out there and have fun first and foremost.
Darko, he pulled me aside while the game was going on and said, "You're not having fun, have fun." And so that was, I've never really had a coach do that. So it was.
Did that come before or after you decided to skip?
He told me that, then I started skipping.
The Raptors had another impressive first half performance, scoring 60 points through 2 quarters and leading by as much as 20 throughout. The Grizzlies just didn't have any answers for Pascal Siakam, who finished with 24 points on 14 shots, or Scotty Barnes, who notched 20 himself. And that helped the Raptors' secondary scorers take advantage of Memphis sending tons of help at the Raptors stars, and Toronto finished with 5 players in double digits. Still, Memphis clawed back in this game, much like the Cavaliers did on New Year's Day against the Raptors, thanks to Zaire Williams, who put up 18 points in 18 minutes, and the Grizzlies trio of Ja Morant, Desmond, Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. combined for 74 points. Memphis made this one interesting. The Raptors' offense became stagnant, especially late in this game, and it seemed like the team was just adjusting to the new personnel.
Fourth quarter is always different, no matter who you playing with. But this is an opportunity for us to look at the film and see how we can get better. Try not to focus too much on results. Is about doing something, seeing how you can get better, come back and try it again, doing that. And getting better from that and trying to do it again and again and again. So it's more about the process and not the result, but we want to continue to make sure that we're doing that.
In the end, there are a lot of positives to take away from these new look Raptors, and they're still extremely early in the process of figuring out what configurations work. Even Jonte Porter got some playing time tonight from the G League and was solid defensively in 7 minutes of action. Jakob Poeltl notched his second straight impactful game, especially on the defensive end, where he finished with 5 blocks. RJ Barrett was great as a two-way presence in the first half with 14 points and 7 rebounds. And while he did run into some of those same tunnel vision problems in this game, it was overall a positive. Raptors basketball is fun again, folks. And a lot of that has to do with the man himself, Immanuel Quickley, who provides life on both ends for this team. So let's dive into the film room. So IQ started out this game struggling a little bit. I thought that he was forcing the issue to get to the basket at times, settling for poor looks. Here he is, beats Ja Morant off the dribble, but then doesn't recognize the help coming his way and just gets swallowed up by Jaren Jackson Jr. And then here off of the offensive rebound, I thought he was a little hesitant to take this jumper even though it was wide open, and instead he attacks the basket and the runner. It's something that he definitely needs to improve, his ability to finish at the rim. You see right here, this is actually the right idea, off the ball, coming off of movement. He misses this 3, and then he just starts, as any good shooter does, he just keeps shooting and figures it out. And his relocation, his ability to relocate, movement, shooting, all that stuff really showed tonight, especially as an off-ball player. He was excellent in that regard. First play here, a nice little dribble handoff, Quickley nails it. Great screen by Jakob Poeltl there. Now here in transition, he's feeling it, you know, no problem settling into a pull-up jump shot right here. He misses this one, but just the idea that he is such a threat from the three at all times, you know, they try to chase him out to this one. And this was probably one of the more impressive plays in general from Immanuel Quickley that shows you just how great he is off ball. So you see Scottie Barnes setting the screen for Quickley to pop out. Quickley realizes, you know what, if Ja is going to top lock this screen and not let me pop out, let me just divert paths. I'm going to cut through right here, settle into the other side. Now, if I want to, I can pass it to Scottie and he has that switch, or I can settle into a nice pick and roll with Jakob Poeltl. They go under for some inexplicable reason, and IQ takes advantage with a pull-up three. Excellent off-ball movement, great recognition on the ball, excellent stuff from Immanuel Quickley. And you see, even in transition, that threat of being a shooter is something that is going to open up the lane for him here. So you see how Scottie comes in, nice little pitch back dribble handoff. They are chasing, and Quickley is going to take advantage of that for a floater. When you're running a guy off the line and he's such a deadly mid-range finisher, he's going to be able to just cook in these type of transition scenarios. This is also another interesting play. So Raptors get the stop here. I want you to look at where Quickley is here and where Ja Morant and Marcus Smart are that try to chase him for this fast break. He beats both of them all the way down the floor. No man, even back or close, and he gets the dunk. That is the speed, his ability in transition to just be dynamite. And so on a healthy diet of threes and cooking in transition, Quickley got himself to 26 points. You know, he missed this floater here, but that was the right idea. This is a pin down. He comes off and just loses jaw and settles into a nice jumper. That is very, you know, JJ Redick-esque, Steph Curry-esque, whatever you want to call it. But the movement shooting, his ability to catch the ball on the go and settle into a jumper, that is elite. Same thing here in transition. Watch how he plants his right foot to get Kennard off his spot and then just launches the deep three-pointer. I mean, the fact that he can be running at full speed, stop on a dime, and then settle into a jumper, that is like, I don't know, a running back or a wide receiver type of agility and foot skills, I guess, if you would call it. Just incredible footwork from him. And so most of Quickley's buckets tonight were off the ball. His ability to kind of either feast in transition or his ability to come off of pin downs, stagger screens, funnel his way through multiple different avenues, different angles to relocate for a three. I think that was the way that he absolutely thrived tonight. He still finished with 26 points and 5 assists, despite just being this off-ball scorer for the Raptors. The on-ball stuff is where they are hoping that, you know, Quickley can grow and develop. He's still been a great pick-and-roll player for the Knicks this season. I mean, he's shooting 40% on his pull-up threes, so that's not really an area of concern. The idea is, how are you going to create chemistry, connection with guys like Scottie Barnes, guys like Jakob Poeltl, so that one, his playmaking can show off, but also that the screen angles are really important for a shooter to be able to settle into these jumpers. You know, on this play, final seconds of the third quarter, Scottie slips the screen, gets the switch, and Quickley is forced to launch. This time it's Jakob with the high screen and roll, and while Quickley gets the switch and beats Jackson Jr., he doesn't recognize that Jakob is now open at this point, and he settles into a really, really tough runner. Same thing here, pick and roll, but it actually works this time just because Jakob levels Zaire Williams with a screen, and he's able to settle into a mid-range jumper. But it's really important for this area of Quickley's game to grow just because of how important it is for Scottie Barnes. You see him draw the help, and then Scottie settles into a three here. This time he rejects the Scottie screen and goes all the way, draws the help, and is able to kick it to Gary Trent Jr., who drives and attacks the basket. And you see right here, this play is a great example of why it's so hard to deal with a Scottie IQ pick and roll. You see The help has to go to IQ, driving and getting downhill. And now the NBA is respecting Scottie Barnes in that catch and shoot three that he's shooting at a high clip. So Zaire Williams has to chase out, and he does close out a little bit short, but ultimately that's enough room for Scottie to attack the basket. Zaire and Xavier Tillman have to react. Scottie attacks the basket, but if he wanted to, look at how open Quickley is. He can get this shot very easily. Once that chemistry develops, you know it'll be potent. But ultimately, in the fourth quarter, the Raptors ran a lot of Scottie IQ actions, and they weren't necessarily all that successful. That just goes down to how much they're going to be able to carve out advantages and how used to each other they'll become in terms of screening angles, just different actions and things like that. Think about Draymond Green and Steph Curry, right? They need time. They needed time in their careers, especially early on, to develop that chemistry together. Same thing applies to Immanuel Quickley and Scottie Barnes, although to a lesser extent. You see here, this time they get the switch, and Quickley is able to use his speed to draw a foul against Aldama. This time they're unable to get the switch, and so Scottie is forced to take Zaire one-on-one, and that doesn't go well that possession. He already has the switch hunted out. He already did the early work, and Scottie is just going to go to the bucket and draw a foul. But the great thing about IQ being one pass away is that if Scottie does want to make this pass, IQ is relocating and shifting to the corner, and that's where he can spot up and make the three. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I think the connection between Scottie and IQ has to develop. It's game two. This is something that will inevitably become much, much better through the course of the season. The reason they probably acquired IQ a little bit earlier in this season is to be able to develop this chemistry with Scottie, with Pascal. I think that's something that's going to be ever evolving for this Toronto Raptors team. But the good news is that you saw Immanuel Quickley just be absolutely dominant, 26 points like I mentioned, and still most of those points came off of the ball. Sort of like Steph Curry running through multiple screens to get it, catch it, shoot. In transition, guys are chasing him all over the place. He's able to use it to extend into a floater. Quickley is so impressive off of the ball that he can be a star like this. In all honesty, he can look like a star on any given night because of his ability to do this. If he can nail down the pick and roll aspect of his game, which will come, by the way, because I know that a lot of that has to do with chemistry. How Jakob is going to set a screen, how Scottie is going to set a screen, where Scottie likes it, where Quickley likes it. All of these are like minor quirks that you have to work through, and you could see it on those possessions. They are actively talking to each other to work this out in real time. So I asked Quickley, before his first game or after his first game, and he said a lot of that has to do with reps. So let's just see how those reps develop. I really do believe that the pick and roll game between him and Scottie will be able to thrive once they get there. And we will see, ladies and gentlemen, because it looks good. And I guess the one thing I would like to say before we head out and continue this West Coast road trip, is that I am having fun again. Ladies and gentlemen, I am having fun watching this team. I think a lot of people who are covering this team right now are enjoying how they look. And it's because, one, the roster makes sense. There is a level of, role identity, if you will, or just being able to understand what each player is meant to do on any given night. It has brought clarity to this team. They have made tons more sense. And while there are still questions that have to be answered in terms of what happens to the future of this team, Pascal, the free agency stuff, the trade stuff, whatever, ultimately, when you add two players like Immanuel Quickley, especially, and RJ Barrett, you've changed the dynamic of this team, and it gives us something new to talk and discuss. And it's been awesome so far. We'll see how it goes. They're going to play Sacramento soon. Yeah, that should be a very, very fun game. They're going to continue this West Coast road trip. They are one win away from that pizza party that Darko Rajakovic has promised, and we'll see if it goes down on Friday. Thank you very much for tapping in. As always, tap into the Objective Basketball Podcast if you're interested. We talk about the NBA at large. Thank you. We'll see you guys later. Take care.